Why Not? A queer podcast.
Thank you to our sponsor, Pineapple Healthcare, an award-winning primary care clinic right here in Orlando.
Pineapple Healthcare offers mental health counseling, HIV, STI testing and treatment, and specializes in care for the LGBTQ plus community.
Open Monday through Saturday. Call today at 407-553-6336 and schedule your appointment.
Pineapple Healthcare. Better together.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rick Todd.
And I'm Jeremy Williams, and you're listening to Wine.
Why Not? A queer podcast.
Episode 181. There is... Oh, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yet again, we get the clap. Jeremy, I just have to ask a question. I know you've been flying all day. So
yeah.
did you take some pills before you got on the plane?
No. Actually, I didn't take any pills. I flew pill-free for all my flights, and I did fine. But I have been up since 4 in the morning.
Oh, geez.
Going airport to airport, and I am already one glass of wine in. So,
oh, there you go.
We're going to see how this goes.
How exciting. Well, I'm sure we have so much to talk about, and I've delayed the recording long enough.
Indeed.
Which I'll
so let's
get
hop
into
into
later.
181. All right. So I found a few things. You might be familiar with this name. I don't know if you know who she is, but you might. Martha Graham. Do you know who Martha Graham is?
Martha Graham, Madonna.
Yes.
Madonna.
I think most people know Martha Graham from The Birdcage, but she was a real person. She is a famed American dancer and choreographer, and famously is known for creating 181 distinct ballet and dance compositions throughout her legendary career.
Really?
Yes.
What a very specific number.
Yes. She
think,
must be so good at what she does that every one of those dances are so memorable.
You get to a nice round number like 180, and everybody's like, hey, do you think she's going to retire? And she said, no.
Yeah. I got one more in me. Got one more. I thought this was interesting. Do you take a daily vitamin? Are you a vitamin guy?
I sure do.
Well, if you take a complex vitamin B12, that B12 vitamin contains precisely 181 atoms in it.
Oh,
there you go.
I know a lot of atoms that I've never had inside of me.
Oh,
and now I have 181
every morning.
It is. I gotta almost. So the joke was so bad that Caitlin only gave me a half a drum roll.
Just drums, no cymbals.
Yeah.
Do you read? Thank you. I'm here all night.
Try the veal. I
got 2 comic book ones. So Ryan, if you're listening, these are for you. I thought this was interesting. 2 well-known comic book characters made their appearances in a 181 edition of a comic book. The first one is the Incredible Hulk 181, was the first appearance of the character known as Wolverine. He started off as a villain to the Hulk and then became popular when he was recruited by the X-Men.
Do you know? Are there things that you're aware of because you hate them so much? Just in general in life,
I'm sure there are.
Because you hate them. Ryan probably knows that fact because he hates Wolverine. Because Wolverine is breaking up his X-Men couple.
I do know that he finds Wolverine to be very overrated as a comic book character, and he is definitely a Cyclops and Jean Grey person. I think Wolverine is awesome and way better than Cyclops and Jean Grey. I mean, who has 9 movies made about them? Am I right?
Yeah. Does Cyclops have 1?
No. In fact, I believe he gets sidelined in every X-Men movie. He's in it for 2 minutes.
Well, because he should have, he shouldn't have taken a copywritten name. I mean, Cyclops is in the Odyssey, but it's
he
not
sure
that
is.
Cyclops.
He should. No, absolutely not. The other one is Batman number 181 is the first appearance of Poison Ivy.
Oh.
You like Poison? Did you see the 90s Batman and Robin with George Clooney and Uma Thurman as I love her as Poison. That's the only thing I love about that movie is her as Poison Ivy.
I have to be honest with you. I watched the first Batman movie, and I don't think I watched any of the others, except maybe the one with Chris O'Donnell because he's hot. You know,
he is in that one. with Poison Ivy.
I watched. Apparently, I only watched the Robin scenes.
Well, you should watch the whole thing. It's a terrible movie. It is It's not just the worst Batman movie I think that they made, but it is. The consensus is it's one of the worst comic book movies ever made.
Is it because of the line "Holy sheetrock, Batman"?
That is in the third one. That's not in the. That's in Batman Forever. You really need to sit down and just watch them all so you can separate the jokes in each one, so you know which one was which. But that was the third one with the Riddler and Two-Face.
I'll tell you what. While I'm doing that, you sit down and listen to every album Air Supply ever did, and then we'll do a podcast about each other's interests.
We absolutely. I will definitely do that. And finally, Pokemon 181 is Ampharos. It looks like a kangaroo. It's the evolved version of the sheep one from last week. But this one looks like a kangaroo with Madonna's Blonde Ambition bra on its head.
Right, it does.
Something special about this one. It has a bright light on its tail that can be seen from miles away, making it a treasured Pokemon in ancient times because it was used as a beacon for the sea.
Oh, I bet Santa could have used that when Rudolph was tired of being bullied and covered his nose.
He could have used them, but he'd have to fly ass first because it's on his tail. And nobody wants to fly ass first.
Are you going to tell me that with a name like Prancer ain't flying ass first?
Oh.
Did that sentence come out right, or did I slur my way through that?
It was a little slurry, but you're fine.
I don't know what's going on. I'm drinking usually I drink sugar-free energy drinks, but they didn't have any. Let me tell you, this is very difficult to find on this block. So I just I went to the pot store, the one that sells all the candy in the pot.
Yeah.
They only had the sugar kind, and I'm just like, anyway.
Wonderful. Well, those are all my
ones. The girl that eats the cotton candy in the little video, and she's like,
no.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Caitlin, you know what I'm talking about? She's like in a stadium, and she's wearing a little hoodie, and she eats cotton candy, and her whole face just goes from the sugar.
No.
You should totally look that up. It's hilarious. Somebody listening has seen this.
No. Now I can collectively hear all the people listening. They're like, "What? No." I don't know what he's talking about.
I will stop this podcast and I will make you watch it now. Oh my God, I sounded like, am I turning into my father? I will turn this car around. Here we go. I have a list of things and none of them are anything that you listed. So,
wonderful.
Did you know this is very timely because I'm sure some people want to jump through the speakers and strangle me for mentioning this. Do you know what UN Resolution 181 is?
I do not know.
It's the resolution that passed in 1947 by the UN General Assembly to partition Palestine into separate Arab and Jewish states.
Oh.
That's all I'll say about that. 181.fm. It's a nice place where you can enjoy rock, pop, country, and more music genres with seamless streaming. So you can stream that. There you go, 181.fm. 181 is a horror film. I was going to watch the preview and talk to you about it, but I was in the apartment by myself, so I didn't do it. What if it was about, here's what it's about. I did write this down. An aspiring director, along with his wife, go to a resort to write a story. Where he begins writing the story, some paranormal forces prevent him from penning the story. Was it a mystic force? Can he save himself and his wife? Once they said paranormal, I was like, not watching that preview.
Yeah.
181, 181 in India. If you're, if you're a woman in need of some help, dial 181. It's their the women's helpline.
That explains the movie. The movie, it's an Indian movie. I just looked it up.
Oh, well, that's why it.
That's why it's called 181.
Maybe she dials it. Have you ever heard of this? The Volkswagen Type 181?
I have not.
Nicknamed The Thing. This iconic boxy military turned civilian vehicle appears on screen in several movies. It is driven in the 1983 comedy movie Max Dugan Returns. It's in the 80s classic horror film The Fog. And it's even driven by Marge Simpson's sisters, Patty and Selma. in The Simpsons. If you're a
Nice.
Star Wars fan, 181 refers to the 181st Imperial Fighter Wing, originally known in Legends as the 181st Imperial Fighter Group. Isn't that exciting? So
Neat. That's so neat.
Isn't that how? Speaking of Madonna's tour, what was it? The tour you mentioned?
Blonde Ambition.
Oh, this wouldn't be Blonde Ambition. What's the one with the sex book with Slash or Slam as her dancer? She made the movie about.
Oh, I don't remember what the name of that tour was.
Is it Immaculate something?
Well, Immaculate Collection was the name of the album that came out when she was touring with it. That was her greatest hit. Here, I'm going to Google it real quick. Let's talk amongst yourself.
It's just because there's a scene in it where Warren Beatty, or is it Kevin Costner, comes back?
No, it's Warren
Beatty.
Costner. Warren Beatty. They were dating.
Well, no, but somebody says that her show was neat. I think that might have been Kevin Costner. I think Warren Beatty would have said that. Or
the Girly Show tour is what she toured with, the Sex Book and Erotica album.
Yeah. So anyway, when you said it was neat, I felt like Madonna. Neat. All right, 181st episode of Friends.
I don't even remember what last week's episode was. I forgot.
This is a less interesting one. It's can be funny. It just further. It's like the beginning or the middle of Ross's like horrific downfall of like into complete stupidity.
Is this when it has to do with the girl he's dating and he tells her that she finds out that Rachel's pregnant with his child?
It is not the one where she finds out that he's having a baby.
It's where he doesn't know. She wants to know where the relationship's going, so he gives her the key and then has the locks changed. He's so stupid.
It's called The One with Ross's Step Forward. Ross and Mona took pictures of themselves at the Rockefeller Center, and Mona was like, "Oh, we should send out a Christmas card," and then Ross freaked out.
Yeah, so you know what? I'm on Ross's side with this. They're only dating for a couple of months. You don't send out a couple's Christmas card a couple of months in,
right? And I think the whole point of the show is all he had to do was say, "I don't want to do this." And
I think it's too soon. Yeah,
and she would have been like, "Fine," but he in his Rossness made it all go
worse.
Awry.
Made it so much worse.
And then this is the one where, I mean, also in this, Chandler or Monica doesn't want to hang out with Chandler's boss. So Chandler tells his boss that they got a divorce or that they split up so that she doesn't have to go. And then he's like, "Oh, my wife and I split up. Let's go to the strip club." And it didn't work out well. You want some interesting tidbits? You want some neat facts about
always.
So Ashley Clark, who plays Phoebe's friend, Roger, also appears on the one with all the candy as one of the people outside Monica's house begging for candy.
Oh, all right.
The alternative title for this episode is the one with the creepy holiday card.
Mm-hmm. It
is still labeled that, depending on where you are. If you have DVD collections or you watch Netflix in the UK, it might have all of that. So I thought this was interesting. Monica tells Chandler that she doesn't want to go out to dinner with Doug, his boss, because of the way he acted at their engagement party. However, in season 7, the episode, the one with Phoebe's cookies, Chandler tells Phoebe that she doesn't have to get them an engagement gift because they weren't going to have an engagement party. So which is it, friends? Did they or didn't they?
It's Monica saying we're not going to have one and then going back on it and deciding she wanted one seems very Monica. So, or maybe Chandler should just listen more. He probably doesn't pay attention. And
yeah, she probably made dinner one night and he ate it and didn't realize there was a party happening around him. Yep. Classic Chandler. So Sean Christian, who played Rachel's doctor, joined the cast of the NBC soap opera Days of Our Lives in 2008 as Dr. Daniel Jonas, who was the godson of Victor Kiriakis, who's played by Jennifer Aniston's father.
It all went full circle.
And then there were 8 other ways that they went on to talk about this engagement party that never happened. There is a thing here too. They just did the math on this, and so by this episode, apparently Rachel should be 8 months pregnant and ready to give birth, and she says she's only 4 months pregnant. So she's a liar. Chandler's a liar. These are not things that you're gonna get unless you are a connoisseur of. Did we lose? We lost Caitlin. Is she?
Oh yeah,
back?
she's not there. Oh, I don't know.
Unless you're a connoisseur of Japanese film. Oh, she's back. Yay. She just ditched us for a brief moment. Maybe she didn't want to hear these. She doesn't like Friends, or she didn't want it to be spoiled. 181st greatest director of all time is Edward Yang, who directed Taipei Story from 1985, and also the TV movie Duckweed. I just wanted to say Duckweed. He was the first Taiwanese and second Chinese person to win Best Director award at Cannes. And then the 181st greatest film ever made. It's a Japanese film about a housewife living under her tyrannical husband, has her life stressfully turned upside down after getting raped by a burglar. She sounds like she belongs in the movie we watched. Intentions of Murder, 181st greatest film ever made.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Well, Jeremy, I know that you did some traveling this week and that you traveled back to New York during the rain, but it didn't take you 3 days.
Sure did. It
so
didn't.
Let's hear all about your week.
I will say that I have learned if you want to make sure that your flights will take off on time and you'll get where you need to go, leave bright and early in the morning at the butt crack of dawn, because early flights are always on time. That I have noticed. And it's when you get later in the day, they start canceling and moving stuff. So I'm going to work backwards because I don't remember things right now because I am so exhausted. I woke up at 4:00 this morning in North Dakota to go catch my plane. I took a total of 4 flights, 2 flights to North Dakota and then 2 flights back here. I did not use any of my Xanax on any of the flights. I was like, I'm going to see if I can do this without the Xanax. And I did perfectly fine. So
let's eat them and put on a horror movie.
I now have a couple of Xanax. So take that, doctor, who thought I only needed 2 because I'd abused them. So this morning I get on the flight. Now I hope to God this person doesn't listen because I don't want to speak ill of one of my flight attendants, but it was so early and I was just weirded out by this person. So the seat I had was the first row after, I'll call it first class. So when you fly on small planes to Bismarck, North Dakota, or you're leaving Bismarck, you're on small planes. So like first class is like, I don't know, 8 seats. And they don't even have a curtain to close. It's just 8 larger seats and then the smaller seats.
How many seats wide is the plane?
First class is 1 and 2, and then 2 and 2 for us poor economy class.
Wow.
And it goes back maybe 15 rows, 16 rows. It's not a big plane at all. But I'm right there. So the way that it goes, the aisle kind of curves a little bit because they have to make more room for the big first class seats. So I'm like peering right down the aisle, and directly in that aisle is the jump seat for the flight attendant. So we go to take off, and she's in that seat. And I just want to say, and I say this in the most loving way I can because I do love this comedian, but the flight attendant looked like Bobby Moynihan in a long brown wig. And while we're sitting there and we're taxiing, the flight attendant is just looking at the ground, like dead looking at the ground, almost like she's terrified of flying. And she takes maybe about 15, 20 strands of her hair. She pulls it in her hair. And so she's got a nice thin, like a little strand of her hair. And then she puts it in her mouth. And then she takes the end and she pulls it so that the whole strand of hair slides through her mouth. And she does this the entire flight when she's sitting in that chair. Now, on the way back, we hit a little bit of turbulence. So every time we'd hit turbulence, the flight attendants would sit in their seats. And she'd sit there, she'd lock onto the floor, and she starts sliding strands of her hair through her mouth. And I was so baffled by this. I found myself staring, and a couple of times our eyes locked, and she would just stare at me and slide the hair through her mouth. And I was like, what the is she hitting on me? What the fuck is this? It was so weird.
Maybe she was playing drunk aunt.
Oh, I don't know what she was doing, but like, girl, focus on your job. Stop eating your hair. I don't know what the hell that was.
His drunk uncle is just
I know.
one of the best.
I love that's what I'm saying.
Update characters.
Also, Bobby Moynihan, the voice of the panda bear from We Bare Bears. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He is the panda bear.
Big fan of Bobby Moynihan. So
yeah. So my notes, I was writing these notes of trying to remember what I was doing. I did this week while I was on my second flight getting ready to land. So these are jumbled. I thought I started most recent. I just started with the eating of the hair, and then I just started rambling things that happened. So the flight there, okay, so I flew into JFK, but I flew out of LaGuardia. So when you fly into JFK, you catch the air tram to Jamaica, and then you can take it to the E train into Manhattan. To get to LaGuardia, I had to take a bus. So the bus was packed. So I'm sitting on my seat, and I've got my bag and then my carry-on backpack and then my CPAP machine. So they're like stacked up on my lap, and the bus is all packed, and we pull up. This is like maybe 4 or 5 stops before we get to the airport. And there are maybe 30, 40 kids standing at the bus stop in matching shirts. I don't know if they're in a camp or something, but they're all in matching shirts. They got their adult handlers, and all of them get onto the bus. And we are packed in there like sardines. I am pressed up against the window with my bag stacked on me. 3 13-year-old girls sat in the seat together next to me. So I was like crammed in there. And
this is like 125th, right?
What are you talking about? 120? No, this was on the bus.
Right, but the bus is at like 125th to go to LaGuardia.
Sure. Yeah, I don't remember what street it was on. But yeah, you take a long bus to LaGuardia.
Yeah, it's any stop you go to, whether on the 1 or the C, you get off at 125th, and then you get on the M60, which goes to LaGuardia. I know exactly what you're talking about because there was a huge group. They all had the same backpack, though.
And no, these people all had yellow T-shirts on.
Yeah. I mean, I think I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, so they pile on there, and that being packed in there like a sardine on the bus while I'm going to the airport, I didn't panic at all. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this plane thing because I was crammed in there, and I so could have easily spazzed out, and I didn't. So no Xanax on the flights. That was nice.
You didn't kill any children. That's good.
And I didn't kill any children. So I was panicking on the first flight because the flight got delayed by 30 minutes, and I had an hour layover. So I was like, I was crunching it. I had very little time, and I don't recall. I've flown into Dallas a couple of times. I didn't recall the airport, so I was like, ooh, I don't know how hard it is to get from one terminal to the other because I was flying into Terminal B, and then I was taking off from Terminal C. So we're taxiing, and we're waiting, and I was like, I am going to be so fucking late for this flight. So we take off, and I tell the lady, I was like, hey, my flight takes off in less than an hour. And she's like, oh, he's going to make up some time, so I think we'll be okay, but you're going to want to book it right away. So I pull up because I flew American Airlines. I pulled up the American Airlines app. And when you're doing a connecting flight, it has a button you push that maps you. It's like GPS for the airport to tell you how long it's going to take you to get from where you land to where your next flight takes off. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was cool. So I pulled it up, and it said it would take me 21 minutes from terminal, because you have to get in Dallas, you have to get on a tram and take a tram to the other, all the terminals are separated. So it said it would take me 21 minutes to go from one gate to the next gate. And I was like, holy shit, this is going to be cutting it tight. So I'm panicking, and I've got my phone ready, and I get my bags as we land, and I'm getting ready to take off, and I realize my phone is still in airplane mode. So I take it off of airplane mode, and then the clock changes an hour back. And I was like, oh shit, I have an hour and 20 minutes till my flight takes off. Totally forgot about the time change. And I was like, I had no reason to panic whatsoever. I had plenty of time. So I grabbed some lunch in the Dallas airport and moseyed on over and sat down, and I'm at my gate and I've got my lunch and my coffee, and I was like, perfect. And then I get a little message on my phone and it says, your flight is starting to board. And I was like, awesome. And I look at the gate and nobody's up there. And I was like, no, they're not. So I look at the app and I was sitting at the wrong gate. So then I had to grab my lunch and my bags. I had to run to the gate and I almost missed my flight. It's like, it was so traumatic.
Have you ever missed the flight?
Not my fault. I have missed a couple of flights because of delays. When I was in the military, I was flying in. It was for my sister's wedding, and I was flying into DC, and my flight in Germany got delayed because of weather. So I ended up having to fly into Philadelphia, and I was like 10 hours later than I was supposed to be in. It was a headache, but I got there, and it was before the wedding, so it's not like I flew in the day of the wedding.
I've missed flights. I feel like it's always because of who I'm with whenever I miss the flight, but it's really like, I mean, one of them was right as they were closing the door. But I think it's before I realized that, I'm like, oh, if I get there before the plane takes off or before the time it's supposed to take off, I'm good. But that's not true. They closed the boarding like 15 minutes before.
Yeah. It even says that on the app. It says, make sure you're there before 15 minutes before the flight takes off, because they won't let you on.
Now, when I missed we're talking paper tickets.
Yeah.
This was a while ago. So there weren't apps.
Yeah. It sounds like you could have used one.
Yeah. I could have used a smartphone back then too.
Or a smart boyfriend. I don't know. I don't know who you were dating back then. He could have been smart.
He was a nervous flyer. He had to smoke between the connections and made us miss a flight.
Smoke. Like he had to get a cigarette or he had to get high.
But you know what?
I can't get on a plane if I ain't high.
Yeah, he's no longer of this earth. So.
Oh. I don't.
Jesus
I don't.
Christ.
No,
That's all.
I don't.
Isn't there a different sound effect for that?
I don't.
He was a great guy.
I don't think that was the right one. You hit the wrong button, Caitlin.
Oh my god.
No. Do you have that sitcom? Oh, that one.
Or like,
no?
do you know what they do? You know what they do on the News Junkie?
Powered by Riverside FM.
Yeah, that one.
I'm sure Riverside would
that
love
was absolutely
to take
it.
the blame for all of that. Did you work on this? You work. They played that song. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
Oh, Boys to Men. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the whole purpose of the flight, I was going out there for my niece's wedding. So I get out there, I see family. So my flight lands late Thursday in Bismarck. And the venue that they're getting married at is in Fargo, which is about almost 3-hour drive. So we get up on Friday, drive to Fargo 3 hours after being on a plane all day Thursday. And then we had basically this one hotel was nothing but the wedding guests. So everybody checks into their rooms and we go out and look at the venue. We do the rehearsal. So I was doing the ceremony. I was the officiant for the ceremony. So we ran through it. I read the script for everybody. They all loved it. My niece was like, if you want to add a few jokes, you can. It doesn't have to be all heartfelt and serious. I'm okay with a few jokes. Just don't go overboard. So I threw a few jokes in there and got to so it's a place called Bonanzaville, and it's a recreation of an old like 1800 Western town. So they got like these old the old post office and
like Blazing Saddles.
Kind of, sure. Yeah, a little like that. But at the very end of the little town is one of those old white churches with the big steeple and everything. So that was kind of what drew her. She thought that would be really cute to get married in. So I go in there and I had a moment with my church, a one-on-one, and tried out my speech. And those old churches, they're all echoey, so it sounded really good. I'm a big booming reverend voice. And I was like, I should start a church. I was like, yeah, I feel very comfortable up here.
Do you know one of my favorite jokes to make it as a wedding is if you say anything that offends anybody, or if somebody's upset about something, you just say, "I'm sorry. I'll do better at your next wedding." Did you use that joke?
No. No, I didn't.
I don't think brides appreciate that joke.
No, I didn't use any this is a rehearsal for your next wedding jokes, or and no derogatory jokes to the bride. My going in was, this isn't a time to make fun of the bride. It's to celebrate her and her groom. So they were lighthearted jokes. And it was a good time. So the wedding comes around. I go in early before everybody else so that I can get, because you probably tell a little bit, I have a sweating issue, and it was 98 degrees the day of their wedding. So,
oh my God, like the band, they were there?
Like the band. Yeah. I hired the band. No, so it was hot as balls. And I was like, I need to go there so that I can like decompress and cool down and then get my suit on. So there was a air conditioner in the church, but it's an old church. So the air conditioner is in the building, or in the basement, and it has one vent in the basement. And then they have vents cut out in the floor so that the basement gets cool, and then the cool air comes up through the vents. So we had fans strategically placed in the church at the vents to suck the cool air into the church.
It's much like the system we have here at the apartment.
Yeah, sort of like that. Yeah. And it worked pretty good. The guy came in, the maintenance guy, groundskeeper, the night before, and turned the AC in the basement down to 60 degrees. So it was nice and cold down there. So it was nice, and it was decent in the church. But when you went down the basement, it was almost like you probably haven't seen The Exorcist, but when they go into the bedroom with The Exorcist, it's like you can see your breath because it's so cold. Yeah. That's how the basement of the church felt. It's
interesting that you say that about the basement of the church and then immediately go to a horror movie, because I was going to say, you'll never find me in the basement of a church. If it ever is good versus evil, all the evil lives in the basement of a church. Yeah,
we were told that the church and a couple of the buildings there are haunted, and that people have seen things and heard voices. So that was kind of cool.
Is it a real church? I mean, I feel like a real church is only haunted by the Holy Ghost.
It is a church that is done that they have services in, but these are all old. They're not like, it wasn't like this. They built this thing at a small town, but these are buildings taken from like rundown old towns from the 1800s and then rebuilt at this area to make a full town. So it's not the original place for the town, but it is all original buildings.
But it's like, is it a functioning church other than just having weddings? So
yes, they do. They do Sunday services there, and that is false. I have seen some very haunted churches. I don't care whose Holy Spirit is there.
It should only be. I mean, I feel like that's how it's supposed to go. But what do I know? I'll get into it later.
What?
I'll get into the, because I also attended somewhat of a church this weekend, and I can't wait to tell you all about it.
I'm very intrigued now. How do you attend somewhat of a church? Anyway, we'll get to it. So the day of the wedding comes, and I'm there, and I'm, being one with my church, and this 22-year-old little twink walks in, and I was like, bless you, Father. So he comes in, he goes, who are you? And I was like, oh, I'm the officiant for the wedding. And he's like, oh, I'm their DJ. And I was like, oh, hey, how's it going? And he was setting up the the microphones and stuff in the church. And he was like, I came in early because they got all of their vendors and stuff from the Knot. So they're not sponsors, so I won't give them a lot of details. But if you go to theknot.com, they have a list of vendors, and they got all their vendors from there. And this DJ works for a company they got off the Knot. And I don't know if it was his first wedding, but if it wasn't his first one, it was his third. It was like one of his first. So he was really nervous. So he got there really early, and it was just me and him. So I sat with him and I said, son, let me give you the word of the Lord and what he says about DJs. So we ran through some things.
On your knees, let's pray.
Oh, no, I'm a man of God. Don't do that. So my
Did you
niece...
at least get a picture of him?
Oh, yeah. I have a video of him, and we'll get to the video here in a minute. Right. So he tells me, so my niece and her husband, or husband-to-be, says they have a handful of surprises for everybody at the wedding. They're like, we have all these surprises. So I'm talking to the DJ, and he says, are you aware of the surprises? Did she tell you? And I was like, I know that there are surprises. You know the surprise? He goes, yeah, I've got to set up some of the surprises, so I know some of them. So I was like, you must tell me them. And he goes, no, I'm not allowed to tell you. He goes, I will tell you one just because I'm nervous about it. So one of the surprises is the thing that this particular DJ company offers is they have a selection of Broadway shows that they rewrite the Broadway song about the bride and the groom, and he sings it as they come in. So they went through and they picked Hamilton, and he rapped a Hamilton song at the beginning of their reception. And he was so nervous because I was like, well, how often have you rapped? And he goes, I've never rapped before. I said, why are you doing this? And he goes, they wanted Hamilton, so I wanted to give them everything that they asked for. So he goes, would you record it for me? And I said, I will definitely record it. And if you're terrible, I will absolutely put it up on TikTok. So he gets to the rap. He was so good. Like, I was impressed. I was like, holy shit. That boy, he was spitting them lyrics out. But it was really good. He did a really good job. And I was really impressed. I felt like a proud father, Son, and Holy Ghost. So we get started with the ceremony. They come down the aisle. I popped one of the Xanax right before the ceremony because I was like, you know what? I don't want to fuck their wedding up. And so I wanted to make sure I didn't have any nerves. So I popped the Xanax. And I got to say, I got a lot of compliments. Several people thought that I was the reverend of that church, is how good I was. They were like, so how many weddings have you done? Is this your church? And I was like, no, this was my first wedding, and I'm a homosexual.
I feel like you and the DJ were taking a lot of risk with your niece's wedding.
We were, but... Because this was, okay, so my family has a tendency to be very dramatic at weddings. Like, drama always happens at weddings in my family. So Joey, my younger brother, was telling me, he said, so who do you think's going to be the cause of the drama at this wedding? And I said, Joey, we're all older. We're all more mature. We're mature, as they say. There will be no drama at this wedding. So we get to the reception, and my niece and her now husband says, it's time for the first surprise. So before the first surprise starts, so the caterer's there setting up the food, and they did cupcakes, which is very popular. I've noticed people don't do like a full-on cake; they do cupcakes. And then they had this tiramisu cake made, that just a small one for them to do like the cutting of the bride with the little bride and groom on top type thing.
They're like, we're gonna eat tiramisu, bitches. You have a cupcake.
The cupcakes were really good, I ain't gonna lie, but I also had a piece of the tiramisu. So me and my sister's husband, whose also name is Jeremy, the bride's father, that morning we went to the bakery that they had ordered the tiramisu in, and downtown Fargo, which I had never been to, is a hipster's dream. So I walked down there, and it's like Democratic flags, like super progressive liberal. And this is like a little liberal bakery next to a wine bar, next to a comic book store, next to a record store. It was just like a whole strip of the type of stores that hipsters love. And I was like, I could live on this particular block of Fargo. It's very nice. So we got the tiramisu, and I guess the information didn't get to them that this was going to be like a cake topper wedding cake type tiramisu. So they did all these fancy chocolate spirals on the top. So it was like loaded with chocolate. So when we got to the venue, Jeremy, or Schmitty as we call him because his last name's Schmidt, Schmitty goes, Jeremy, go ahead and clear the top of that tiramisu. And I went to town and I ate all of the little chocolate spirals, and it had chocolate espresso beans. I ate those so that we could have a flat service to put the little bride and groom down on. So that was nice.
Does that negate your Xanax?
Probably. But at that point, the ceremony was already over. We cleared it off and set up because we went there. There was a cocktail hour that everybody was doing while we were setting up. So the caterers didn't do the cake. So we didn't have anybody to like set the cake. So me and Joey's girlfriend were on cake duty. So we set up the table. And while she's putting out the cupcakes, kids are starting to come by and they're snatching cupcakes off the table. And she's like, no, it's not cake time. What are you doing? And then they'll run off. And then adults started doing it. And she's like, Jeremy, what are we going to do? I said, we'll put cupcakes out and I will do cupcake guard. And I stood at the table and yelled at people because they kept coming up and like, I'm going to grab a cupcake. I was like, no, you're not. It's not cake time. And then a little kid would come up and was like, hey, I'm going to tell your parents it's not cake time. Don't touch that cupcake. So I was like snapping at them. So while I was on cake cup duty, there's a screen up and my niece goes, please enjoy this video. And they play a video that I'm not entirely paying attention to because I am focused on cupcake duty.
I imagine that like you're as the reverend of the church, that when people walk up, you're like, you will eat this cupcake in hell.
Yeah. I should have. Oh my God, I should have. You're going to go to hell, child. So as I'm on cupcake duty, my brother's girlfriend, who was also on cupcake duty with me, comes up to me and her jaw is just dropped and she's like white in the face. And she goes, can you believe this? And I said, believe what? And she goes, are you not watching the video? And I said, oh no, I was so focused on the cupcake. And then she looks down at my jacket and she goes, what is that on your jacket? So I had a nice suit jacket. I had gotten, because I kept having to put out the cupcakes because they kept taking the cupcakes, I got whipped cream on my hand and it got smeared on my jacket. But it was like a light coating of whipped cream, so it did not look like whipped cream. I looked like Monica Lewinsky.
Oh.
I looked like Monica Lewinsky with the dress.
You look like you really enjoyed that video.
Yes. She's like, I was like, no, it's whipped cream, I swear. So I said, what's the deal with the video? And she goes, they're already married. I was like, what do you mean? They got married in May and then surprised us all with a video to say, haha, we're already married. Yes. Yeah.
So it didn't even matter that you're really ordained.
Okay, so I have done 2 weddings in my life since I've been ordained. Neither one of them counted because the other one was just a vow renewal for Joey and his wife, who's now his ex-wife. But so I'm like, what? So I look over at my family's table and my sister and her husband and my mother and my brothers and my nieces and nephew are there. And they're all watching the video with their jaws dropped. And then I look up at the wedding table and my niece and her husband have a smile on their face and their smile starts to fade when they see the table. In their heads, they thought this was going to go over well and this is going to be like a fun
Holy shit.
Okay, so the reason that this happened,
such a bad idea.
Oh, and now I will say they're 22 years old. So we've all made terrible decisions at 22.
Yeah, but they have mothers, don't they? Like, what do you?
Yeah.
My God,
so the whole reason this happened is initially the wedding date that they wanted. They have a particular date, the date that they met, because they were friends before they started dating. So the date that they met was a specific day, and then they got to know each other. And then a year later, he asked her out, and their first date was on that same day that they had first met. And so that date had significance to him. So they wanted it to be their wedding date. Unfortunately, that date was a Wednesday this year. And my sister's like, nobody's going to come to your wedding on a Wednesday. It has to be a weekend. So they went back and forth on what to do with the date. And they decided to do the the reverse of the date. So I don't remember the exact date, and I'm so tired right now. I can't remember what the wedding date was, but it was sometime in May. So they reversed it, and then it was sometime in July. So what they decided to do was have their wedding on that date, but still go get married on their day. Which later we told them, we were all saying, that's not a bad thing. If you wanted to go to the courthouse and that be your wedding day and then have your wedding on a particular day, the issue is not telling anybody and then surprising us after we just sat through your wedding saying that wasn't our real wedding. Our real wedding was on this day.
I mean, wouldn't you feel like why not just not even do the ceremony, just do the reception when everybody can come?
That was, well, because she wanted to have a ceremony in a church like that for, the family and everything. Yeah. So that part I completely got. My biggest thing was you absolutely, even if you wanted to surprise the rest of us, you absolutely should have told your parents you were doing this, because it was a very traditional wedding where my sister and my brother-in-law paid for the wedding. So it's like, on some level, they just feel like they paid for a big party and not the wedding, So there was drama there. So there was a lot of tension. And then we all were like, you know what, Joey, that was it. That was the drama that you bestowed on this wedding. Now let's drink. So we all hit up the bar. And after we all started drinking, everything kind of lightened up. And we started dancing, and the bride and the groom apologized and reconciled with the parents, and they are working through the feelings on that because there were some hurt feelings and some misguided ideas with surprises. But
I thought they were gonna be like, I'm pregnant.
Oh no, that would have been an enjoyable surprise.
Right. But I had no idea it would be like, oh, by the way, everything you just did, not real. Like, I would think they would have told you.
No.
Don't you think?
No.
And if they had just told one person.
They did.
Person could have
They told the videographer who recorded the video we watched and her boyfriend. So they're the witnesses on their marriage license.
But did the videographer and everybody say that? Did anyone at any point say you should probably tell your parents?
I don't know beforehand, because those are the only people who knew. The people at the courthouse, my niece, her husband, and then the two witnesses. I will say that they realized that they fucked up, because there was a lot of people, members of the wedding party, especially like the maid of honor, was like, if you wanted to do this big, surprise wedding beforehand, she goes, I would have come with you and I would, been your witness for your certificate. Now I'm not even the witness. So there was a lot of hurt feelings. And they have a lot of groveling to do to some of their friends, I think. But
I wish I was there. This needs to be like in a movie where they're like all giddy, like, oh, here's the big
They were like, oh, they're gonna love this so much. And that's like, ooh.
Like,
yeah.
Like, I would, if I was you, I would have been like a little bit like, wow, so this was fake. I spent all this time.
I was a little bit, but I got over it. It's my niece. I love her. But I was a little hurt. Because I put a lot of work into that speech. And I made a joke. I was like, well, if I know this was fake like the other one I did, I would have put as much energy in yours as I did Joey's. Which I put energy into.
Now that next wedding joke would have worked out really good.
I know, right?
Actual wedding.
So I went up to the bar and I ordered a drink. I wanted an espresso martini, and the bartender was like, I don't have the stuff for espresso martini, but I have the stuff for a bulldog. And I was like, I'm intrigued. Tell me more. So a bulldog is like a coffee Kahlua drink that has vodka and a splash of Coke in it, but you don't even taste the Coke. It just kind of brings out the flavors of the cream and the Kahlua. I had maybe 9 of these they are so flipping delicious. I kept going back. I was like, another bulldog, please. They were amazing. They were so good. Also, I want to say, I'm glad to be back in New York. I love New York, but my God, things are so much cheaper in the rest of the country. Just like these big bulldog drinks were like $4. And I was like, oh, there is no way that would be $4 in New York City. And I made it into a Walmart after over a year, and just it's still the same. 15 minutes in, I was like, all right, we can go. But for those 15 minutes, it was magnificent.
I agree that things are cheaper, like, but not everywhere. Like they're
Well, not on
cheaper
Amazon.
in really small places. Like when my sister got married, she got married in Shiner, Texas, and beers there where like a Corona was $1.25.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and everywhere else it was like $7. So like I think in cities things are really expensive, and maybe out in the rural areas, it's cheaper.
Well, definitely cheaper in Fargo. So then we're all, everybody's kind of, liquored up, and one of the other surprises was later in the evening, the DJ busted out karaoke, and we all did karaoke, which was a blast.
Oh, that's fun for you guys because you're a karaoke family.
Yeah, we're a big karaoke family. And my brother-in-law, who more than anybody, being the father of the bride, took the surprise the hardest. He had a few drinks and he started singing some. He likes old country, so he started singing some Johnny Cash and some Hank Williams Jr. And he was feeling it, and he was having a gay old time. And I look around and I can't find my other niece, my older brother's daughter. And I was like, "Where is my niece?" And people are murmuring, and they're like, "Where is she? Where is she?" Apparently, she's pregnant. By the way, my brother's daughter, and got rushed off to the hospital. So in the middle of all this drama, she goes off to the hospital, and it was just I don't remember what it's called, but it's just a scare. But everything's fine. But for a minute there, we were like, "What else is going to fucking happen at this wedding?" One's being rushed off to the hospital. One surprised us with her video. But all in all, it was a good wedding. I had a really good time. Lots of drama, lots of stories to talk about. But it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Then I
mean, that's going to be a memorable wedding.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Every time this family gets together, we're
going to talk about this wedding. Yeah.
Remember when you got married and then you got fake married and then you told everybody?
Yeah. So the only other thing that happened that is worth mentioning is while I was in North Dakota, I got a call from a broker who said she has an apartment that she wants to show me, and it's the landlord's first kind of foray into vouchers. And she's like, she really wants like the cream of the crop candidate for the apartment. So she was asking me a bunch of questions.
Kind of said cream of the crop.
I did.
I can't let that go.
And so she asked me a bunch of questions. She goes, I think you're the exact person she's looking for. So she goes, I'm going to tell her about you. And then when you come back, you look at the apartment. I said, okay. Like 20 minutes later, the landlord called me and she goes, I just had a couple of questions for you. And I answered her questions. And she goes, when do you get back in town? And I said, I get back Tuesday night. But I'm off on Wednesday, so I can come look at the apartment Tuesday or Wednesday. She goes, no. When you get in on Tuesday, relax, rest up from your flight. Wednesday, let me know what time you want to come and you can look at the apartment. I want to show it to you. And so I thought that was a good sign that the landlord called me and wants to specifically show me the apartment herself. So I talked to her right before we started the podcast. So tomorrow at 4 or 4:30, she's going to let me know. I'm going to go over there. Because she called me and she goes, would you be able to do Thursday? I have a doctor's appointment on Wednesday. And I was like, oh, yeah. I said, I work Thursday afternoon. I said, but I'm free Thursday morning. And she goes, unless you want to come after 4. I said, oh, I'll come after 4 on Wednesday. That's fine. So we're going to look at the apartment tomorrow.
It's awesome. Where is
it?
This?
Is in Flatbush in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
And the broker, when she was talking to me, she goes, it is one of the gentrified areas. So the building's been redone and there's like coffee shops and stuff all along the strip. She goes, it's a good time to get into this neighborhood. Now, that might just be the broker trying to sell me on the apartment, but I've heard good things about Flatbush. So I'm looking forward to that and hopefully get my apartment. Because that's what I need.
So you didn't hear anything about any of the other ones that you had seen?
The gentleman also called me because remember he had one in the Bronx he wanted to show me, the guy who showed me the studio in Brownsville. Yeah. So I'm gonna look at that one at 2:30 tomorrow.
I just mean like the one in Hell's Kitchen.
Oh no, No. Oh, yes. One, because there were two in there. One, I got a response that it is off the market. It has been taken. The one with the
That's the
window.
nice
No,
one.
the one with the window in the living room that leads into the bedroom. They have not made a decision on the studio yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I mean, isn't that ideally where you want to be?
Ideally, yes. Ideally, I would like to be in any apartment at this point. I just want to be in a place, but I don't mind being in Brooklyn as long as
Tired of living with those assholes. You gotta get.
I just need some. I need a place to stretch my stuff out in.
I understand.
But so that was my week. How were things in New York without me?
Things were good. I'm just, what's so funny is like I was getting ready to talk and I was looking around like, where's all my notes?
Can't find them?
Not really.
Oh, all right.
How am I supposed to talk about my week if I don't have any notes? Oh, here we go. You know what I did is I turned them around to write down.
Oh, more notes.
I wanted to write down cream of the cock. I just snorted. Oh, that makes me laugh. Well, okay. So here's my week. Just I like to give a house update. So we noticed that a bunch of days went by and nobody had come to the house.
Oh.
So I decided to like pretend to ask questions. So I was like, "Oh, hey, how much grout do I need to get for the shower? Blah blah blah." Just like to get a conversation going.
Yeah.
And he was like, he goes, "Oh, in 20 years of doing construction in Orlando, I've never had this happen, but the city made him rip the shower walls down and redo all of it, and so
What?
they were waiting on an inspection, and so that's why nobody was out. Isn't that crazy?" But so it happened. The inspection happened on Thursday, and it passed. And then Jen just got home. She said somebody was out there working all day. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but that's the shower.
Oh, all right.
I have to make sure I go the right way. Otherwise, look at that. It's so cute, isn't it?
Yeah.
I do like that it goes all the way up, and I like that we went with the dark grout to make it real New Yorky looking. So that's really cool. A shower that'll get used once or twice a year.
Very nice.
Just kidding. I'm there more often than that. So that's kind of exciting. Dylan and I decided to go to a restaurant week. Have you heard of this? Have you been to this? Do you know?
Yeah.
So we decided to look it up. And for those that don't know, they do this thing. Restaurant week is where they do it everywhere.
Yeah.
Probably. I know they call it magical dining in Orlando. But restaurants, just to try to get people to come in, will do a cheap or an inexpensive dinner with a prefix menu. You get a 3-course appetizer, entree, and dessert for a set price. Here in New York, that set price is $45 a person for dinner, $30 for lunch. But we went to this place called the Iron Rose. I mean, we really spent a lot of time looking at all the restaurants that were doing this in Manhattan to decide which one to go to. We ultimately picked this one. I think we picked poorly. I don't remember why we picked it, and I wish we had picked something else. But it's not like it was bad food. It's just that it was we made bad choices when we were there. Although, have you ever heard of something called a Scotch egg?
Yeah.
I've never heard of this.
Oh,
and
it's
British,
British,
on the menu, so I got it. And so I think that's the thing is like this was like a British style food place. And so I got that, which was surprisingly delicious. I'd never heard of it. And so I got that. And then I ordered fish and chips, which I should never do because it needs to come off my menu. Or like I always get fish and chips. And I told Dylan after I eat it, I was like, I think I need to take this off of my choice list. And he's like, you say that every time. And I'm like, why don't you tell me then when I go to order it? It's like, no, you don't want that. But it was just way too much fried food with the Scotch egg and all that. But it's all right. It's right next to the place Gatsby Landing, and we love Gatsby Landing. So I just wanted to give them a shout out, even though we didn't go there. And so then I went to see a bunch of shows. So I'm just going to talk all about those real quick. I went to see The Great Gatsby. And I only went to see it because I've seen almost everything else that was available. And I was like, okay, I'll give this a shot. Because I knew that the guy starring as Jay Gatsby is Reeve Carney, who was the original Orpheus in Hadestown. And I love that song that he sings, "Wait for Me." If you don't if you don't have a chance to go to Broadway, but you go to the movies and you went to see Hadestown in the theaters recently, that is the same guy, right? And it's interesting because playing opposite him is Daisy, and that is played by Eva Noblezada. And she originated the role of Daisy in The Great Gatsby on Broadway, but also plays Eurydice in Hadestown and is in the movie, right? So it's like, oh, that's like a little reunion of the Hadestown couple, being the couple in this. So let me go see The Great Gatsby. Have you seen The Great Gatsby?
I've read the book and
You haven't
seen the
seen-
movie. I haven't seen the musical.
Okay. I thought the whole time that like everybody died except one person. And it turns out most everybody lives except the person I thought lived. So anyway, expected that to be the case, and it just wasn't. So this guy, Reeves Carney, who stars in it, he was also Peter Parker from Broadway Spider-Man.
Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. Or Turn Off the Dark. Yeah.
Turn Off the Dark. Yeah. And he was weird in Hadestown, but I think that it was like the character, right? But now I wonder if that's the case because he was very weird as Jay Gatsby.
Yeah.
I always thought that Gatsby was like a well put together person, but I didn't realize and I've seen other versions of it where it's just like, yeah, I'm just this great fun guy that throws great parties, but he was like thirsty and like everything was all about Daisy. And I get that that's what the character probably is. It's like, hey, I did all this so I could win her back.
Yeah.
But he's just so like crazed and not even a real person. It was very odd. I don't know. That's all I can say. He can sing well. He's great. Overall, the songs were not that great.
Yeah.
The lyrics weren't that great. I found myself singing along to one of the songs that I had never heard before because it was just that predictable. And it was very weird. But I will say that the set is huge and crazy and great. It's a huge theater, and that whole spectacle of it was kind of cool. Corbin Bleu is also in it. He plays Nick Carraway. He's from High School Musical and other things. He was good. Also kind of weird though in it. Just sort of, I don't know. You didn't see the movie with Tobey Maguire?
I did, yeah.
As that character. Did you think that he was weaselly in it?
I don't think that the Baz Luhrmann is a good indicator of what The Great Gatsby is supposed to be. I think the Robert Redford movie is a lot better. But Gatsby is not supposed to be admired. He's supposed to be full of himself. And everybody sees that he's full of himself. But yeah, he's Nick is kind of a kiss ass. He is obsessed with Gatsby and wants to be like him. But I don't know if I've ever seen him played weaselly, but just kind of thirsty and desperate to be near him.
Okay, well then I guess he played exactly what he was supposed to. I will say that Daisy, Eva, she was so good. She was really good. I want to point this out though. This is funny because everyone around me loved it, and I was listening to people as I walked down the street from the theater, and one person was like, "Everybody I know that's seen this said it wasn't any good, but everything about it was so good from the beginning. Everything about it was so good." And I'm like, we did not watch the same show. But at intermission, the girls behind me were so excited to be there. And this is what one of them said: "I've never been to Broadway. These people are like real. They're like better than actors." And I was like, bitch, they are actors. That's what they call them. So then later that night, Dylan and I had tickets to go see 54 Sings Broadway's Greatest Hits at 54 Below. And I've been dying to go to 54 Below. You know, 54 Below was like one of those venues that made me want to be in New York. You know, it's sort of like I watched a YouTube video. I can't remember if it was Jeremy Jordan or I don't know, the gay one that plays the piano.
Elton John?
No. I know that's probably like Liberace. No. Dear Evan Hansen, Ben Platt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it was him or not, but I was just like, that's cool. That's why you want to be there, because you can just go to shows like that, blah blah blah. so I was excited to get the tickets. I got them on TDF. They were like $12. So I was excited to go. And then I caught wind that maybe there's a minimum charge at Studio 54 or at 54 Below. So I went to look it up. And while I was looking it up, I came across a Reddit page where somebody's like, 54 Below sucked and the food was gross and overpriced. Why is that? And then somebody said, oh, you must have seen 54 Sings ... And those are usually terrible. But if you go to see a show, like a big ticket show, like Tony Danza did the show before this one.
Paloma Diamond was there, sold out.
And Leah Salonga's going to be there in September, December, maybe January. I don't know, somewhere. I'm definitely going to get tickets for that. But so I had very low expectations. I mean, we didn't eat because we're going to have to eat there because there's a minimum of $25 a person, which is no big deal. $25 a person plus the $12 each to get in. Like, we didn't care. I was just excited to go. And I prepared myself for a mediocre show. And so we go and we sit down where we are almost on the stage. We're the very first table and like right in front of the piano player. And I was thinking, well, I mean, at least we're close, and so this might be kind of cool. So then we order the food. I just want to point out the food was perfect. We just ordered I just ordered quesadilla. I forget what he ordered, but it was just really. Oh, he ordered chicken fingers and got a thing of fries. The fries were delicious. Go there, get the Obey fries. They're delicious. I don't know what these people on Reddit were talking about. The food was perfectly portioned. Maybe that's what their problem is. They thought it was too small. But for people like Dylan and I who inject these shots every week and we're never hungry, they were the perfect size. And the food was good. And maybe because we hadn't eaten for hours. Who knows? But I just want to point out some things about the show. There's a guy. His name's Scott Siegel. He looked very familiar. I don't know much about him, but he's a producer who is also writes autobiographies of famous people. He's written several of them. I think Sylvester Stallone was one of them. But he produces these shows and he does these Broadway Sings. He's been doing this Broadway Sings or 54 Sings, Broadway's Greatest Hits, has been going on for 11 years. And there are so many performances of it. He also has like these benefactors, these people that are at the table next to us that give him all this money to produce these kind of shows. And he does like workshops and stuff for Broadway's Next Generation. I think it's actually called Broadway's Next Generation. And fascinating that he collects like these incredibly talented people, and then he goes out and does these showcases with them, and they were mesmerizingly talented. I can't tell you how much I loved this show. Every time somebody new would come out and sing, I thought it was incredible. He also produces like concert versions of shows. They had sold out shows at the Scarlet Pimpernel, so he's added one of that. Coming up in September, he's doing a show, Jekyll and Hyde, a concert version of that. And one of the guys who sang at this particular cabaret performance is starring in Jekyll and Hyde. And he's phenomenal. Like, there were so many times when people were done singing that Dylan and I would just look at each other like, oh my God. So this guy, right, who's going to do Jekyll and Hyde, he sang that song from Company that everybody sings,
Being Alive.
Yeah. It was so good. And like the guy who plays the piano, he like moved away and like came back specifically to do this show with this guy. And he's recorded with a lot of famous people. And he was the pianist. When it was over, I was practically sitting on the piano. And so he just looks at me all wide eyed. And I looked at him and I went, right? Like, that was insane. So it's really kind of cool. There was, who do I want to point out? Like, I think I wrote that guy's name down. Ben Jones. That's that guy. He was incredible. There's also, I call him the twink, Tommy Farallona, who is like not been in any shows but this. And he was super good. I feel like that's somebody people are going to watch out for. Just really great. I'm going to go to every one of them. I mean, it was, although I will say maybe we just got lucky. Because when I went to write my email address down, I told the guy, I was like, I'm in shock. I had no idea it was going to be this good. And he goes, yeah, this is a really good one. So I don't know what that means about the rest of them. So the next day, Dylan went to work. And so I went to see a show. This is my church outing. I went to see a show called The Saviors. and I just saw like an ad for it, and like it popped up all over my Facebook. So I was interested in it. It's about two 14-year-old altar boys that I got the sense that there was something gay about it. But it's because it talked about, like they've been altar boys, and then it's them dealing with all of the changes that are coming about in their lives. And so they're like best friends, and they're finishing high school. Their communion's coming up. They're planning to go to college together in this uh, what is a like a religious school or religious college. And you've got one of the altar boys is like I've got to do everything perfect the way the Bible wants it done, and it'd be great because I got to be a great person. And then the other guy's like, yeah, I'll get to it, I'll do this, I'll do that. And then a homeless guy shows up looking for some sort of refuge when they're getting ready to close up after service. And from that moment on, everything changes in their lives, and all these secrets start to come out, and different feelings and stuff. And like the one kid who he's like, I don't know if I believe in this anymore. And then he talks about how his friend, while they were sleeping on a couch together, kind of touched him in a way. And so then you get the sense that the other kid is gay, but they're still best friends. And it's just them trying to figure out their lives and what the next steps of their lives are going to be. And it was very confusing because it's at the Atlantic Theater Company, right? And what was confusing about it, what's so funny?
Okay, before you finish, I just need you to do me a favor. Stop and take a deep breath.
Oh, I'll try to get through it all. Real fast.
I know your Red Bull's kicking in, and you're going a mile a minute. And I'm afraid you're gonna fall out. Just breathe for me.
I'm just trying to get through all of it because I know that I delayed us with my phone call. Okay, but it's really it's an interesting show. It's kind of weird, and I spent a lot of time trying to figure out where I was because it's the Atlantic Theater Company in Chelsea.
Yeah,
and it's outside looks like a church, and they changed it to a theater, but when you go inside, it was a church.
Oh.
Like it like if you were to sit in a pew and look forward and see what a church is, that's what this was. And so I was very confused, and I didn't understand if all they do at this place are religious shows and it's always the set like this, or do they build the set like this? So I looked it up afterward, and kudos to the designer because they fooled me.
It's not a
church. And that whole church setup was built to look that way, and it was a church.
Yeah.
I took a picture of it and sent it to Jen, and Jen said, "Look at you going to church. I'm so proud of you." So it was an interesting show. Let's give a shout out to the guys that starred in it. Ivan Howe and Julius Renzel play Michael and Paul. It got me from the beginning because the one guy who like has to be perfect.
Yeah.
It just kind of, I related to that. When I was a kid, I had to get straight A's. I had to do all my homework. I had to be helpful and do everything because I knew that I was gay, and I felt like everyone would hate me when they found out. So I had to make them like me as much as I could, so that when they found out, they liked me more than they hated the fact that I was gay. And I think that's what this character spent the show doing. And it's just kind of crazy to watch all of you talk about indoctrination of kids, but I won't get too much into that. But this kid specifically certainly indoctrinated and lied to by a lot of people. So it was really interesting. It reminded me a lot of my childhood. So I thought it was cool. It's definitely worth seeing. What else I want to tell you? That's playing through August 15th. So if you're in New York and you want to see it, go see it. Last night, Dylan and I went to go to see Broadway by the Boardwalk.
Oh, yeah.
So I sent Caitlin some pictures of these performers so that maybe if she wanted to post them, you could see them. So they, you and I went, and they have a person that gets up and sings that's an understudy because they're trying to pay tribute to understudies. And so this was Christian Probst was the understudy who was performing, and he's the understudy for Christian in Moulin Rouge. And I kind of wish that maybe he was Christian when I saw it, because I probably would have liked it a little better. I just really hated the show when I saw it on Broadway.
Yeah.
But he's adorable gay. I can only assume that he's gay, and you'll understand when you see the photo. I mean, there's not very many non-gay guys that wear an ascot, right?
Yeah.
So, and if you saw him tap dance, you'd probably think so too. But he was really good, adorable, and great. And then the main artist was Ali Stroker, and I don't know if you know who she is
From
but
Oklahoma.
She's the
Yeah.
yes, and is that what she won for?
Yes, she
the
won
Tony?
the Tony for Best Featured Actress in a Musical for Oklahoma.
She's the first actress to appear in Broadway in a wheelchair, and the first Tony Award winner who was in a wheelchair. And I think she was in Glee. No,
Oh,
Was
I
she in
don't know. I
Glee?
didn't watch Glee. I watched the first season of Glee. And the
Oh.
only guy in a
I feel like-
wheelchair was the guy who turned out to be gay and also not in a wheelchair.
Not needed to be in a wheelchair.
No, he
I feel like she was, but I could be wrong. I just want to say, she is so delightful. She was wonderful,
Yeah.
and full of so much joy, and just so happy to be there. And she kept like pointing at her husband and her kids, and her husband and her son. Her son just was running around the whole time, didn't care that his mom was on stage singing, and the husband's like just waving, like, "I love you, you're doing great. Let me take care of the kid." It was just really cute, and she was so fun. Unfortunately, it was about to storm, so they kind of rushed her.
Yeah.
They started a little early. It was funny they started early because it's going to rain, and the first song she sang was Tomorrow from Annie, which cracked me up. But she sang she got like 4 or 5 songs in, and then they were like, "Hey, this is the last one, and then we're going to pull the plug." So we got home just as the skies opened up. So it was really nice. I'm grateful that they did that. But it's great. I loved it. I'm so glad that that they do that and that I get to go. And Monday, Jay Harrison Gee
Oh yeah, yeah.
is singing, and Jen will be here in town, so I'm gonna make
Lovely.
her go to that. Yeah, so that was my week.
Beautiful. We also got a movie in. We did.
Did
we
we?
did. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched something.
Yeah. Yeah. I watched it in 3 parts on 3 different airplanes. So I downloaded it to watch it. And I watched, I don't know, maybe about an hour of it, and then I got bored. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of this movie. I got bored with it, so I watched some Seinfeld episodes because I was like, this turned out to be a really shitty flight. And then I tried it again on my second flight, and I got about a quarter of a way through. And then I remembered I downloaded Masters of the Universe. I was like, oh no, I want to watch that. So then I watched that, and then I finished up on the ride home.
I want to just point out
Yeah.
to those, this movie is called Running with Scissors. It's Ryan Murphy's first film, and it's based on the memoir of Augustin
Burroughs.
Yes. Augustin Burroughs, however you pronounce his name. And it is a very eccentric story. But this movie, you ever watch a movie and you think to yourself, like, somebody owed this is like the cash in kind of movie. It's like, like Rat Race or something like that, where it's like somebody's going to make a movie and everybody has to fulfill their contract of being in 6 movies in a year, because this movie legit has everyone in it.
Yeah, it is a very big cast. It's got Annette Bening and Alec Baldwin, who play the kids' parents. The kids played by Joseph Cross, who the first movie I remember seeing him in was Jack Frost.
Yeah, these movies don't go together, and I don't think he's been in anything else much.
Let me see. I pulled up his thing. He was in a couple of things that I recognized. He was in. Oh, you remember Desperate Measures from the 90s? I think it was Michael Keaton and Andy Garcia, and Michael Keaton plays a bad guy in it. But it was a good movie.
Vaguely, he must have got that role because of Jack
But
Frost.
no, Desperate Measures came out before Jack Frost. But that's how the kid probably got into Jack Frost, is he met Michael Keaton, who's in Jack Frost. He was also in Flags of Our Fathers, the Clint Eastwood movie. He was in Milk.
Really?
Yeah, he was Dick Babich. Dick Babich. He was in Lincoln. He was in Licorice Pizza, and most recently he was in Affection, which is a horror film. I'm gonna have to check it out. You won't watch that one. But yeah, he's been in quite a few things. He's been in a couple of Law and Orders and You saw Mindhunter, right? You like that show?
Oh yeah.
He was Benjamin Bartwright in 2 episodes of Mindhunter, and he was also in Big Little Lies.
Well, there you go.
So been in
Prove
quite
me
a bit
wrong.
of things. But it also has Brian Cox and Evan Rachel Wood and Gwyneth Paltrow and Jill Clayburgh and just a bunch of people, and a couple of them that you see later on in Ryan Murphy's shows. So Gwyneth Paltrow did a couple of shows for Ryan Murphy. Joseph Fiennes was in American Horror Story. So he likes to reuse people and stuff.
Yeah, so insane amount of famous people
Yeah.
all throughout this. I mean, there's so many. The guy from the Insidious movies, what's his name?
Oh yes. What is his name? Patrick Wilson. Yes, he's in it for like 2 seconds.
And one of the girls that plays his sister, she's in Westworld.
Yeah, that's Evan Rachel Wood. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So like, did you already say that?
Yeah. Gabrielle Union appears in it as a crazy lady.
Yeah, I'd like a dog with a bone. A message popped up on my screen, and I've been concerned for Caitlin for this whole show, and because it says that something happened with my recording, and it's recording multiple segments or something weird, and I was like concerned for her. So anyway, because that means more work for her. So that's I didn't catch if you said that she was in that, but so you didn't really necessarily care for this movie.
No.
I'm just gonna tell you, I don't know how I feel. It's so fucking weird.
It's a weird film, yeah.
But do you want to guess what Rotten Tomatoes was?
I'm gonna say Rotten Tomatoes for critics. I'm assuming there's a critics and an audience score. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna say 55 critics, and I'm gonna say 40 audiences. This does not seem like a crowd pleaser.
I have never gone to read the reviews and seen so many Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, they were all about like this. Well acted by the superb ensemble cast, but there just isn't a likable character among them to care about. And like, I mean, come on. Anyway, we'll get into some specifics in a second, I guess. 32 critics.
Yeah.
And 56 audience.
All right.
You know, Julianne Moore was slotted to play Deidre.
Oh, I did not know that.
In that Benning character beforehand, but did not. And we'll be happy to know, because I'm sure we're going to talk about it, that Joseph Cross was almost 20 years old when he played this role.
Yeah.
It started as a 13-year-old is what he's playing. So
yeah, there is a lot of pedophilia in this movie.
Yeah,
there's he's 13 in this movie, or 14 and turns 15, and he starts a relationship with a guy in his 30s. They talk about Evan Rachel Wood, who plays his adopted sister, I guess, because the therapist ends up adopting the kid. She talks about how when she was 13, she was in a relationship with a guy in his 30s or 40s. It's just a lot of, and it's based on a true story. So I guess that's better than someone being like, oh, this is going to be a real quirky movie. We're going to write about pedophiles. So it actually happened. So I guess he's just getting the story out there. But yeah, it's just it's because everybody kind of accepts it too. It's not like it's seen as a bad thing in the movie, which just has a very big ick to it.
Right. The philosophy of most of the people in the movie is the understanding that when you are 13 years old, you're a full-grown adult.
Yeah.
And you can make whatever choices that you want to make. And it's just not our lives.
It's a very gross, icky movie.
I will point out what I did like about the movie.
Okay.
Was its throwback to the 70s and the 80s.
All right.
She drinks Tab. You know, the clothes and that sort of thing, and the two-tone station wagon with the wood paneling, all the things that were part of my childhood, I totally grabbed. But yeah, I don't know. It's just I don't understand something about this movie, so I'm going to ask you. And there might be spoilers, but that's what happens when a movie's been out for 20 years.
Yeah.
My take for most of the movie was that she wasn't that she maybe had anxiety issues, but that she wasn't like clinically insane.
Yeah.
And then she meets this psychiatrist who wants to bleed her of money and wants to steal her kid, and then drugs her and then convinces her to do whatever it is he wants to do, like sleep with her. She ends up giving her son away. This guy officially adopts her son. It's just the most unrealistic thing I've ever heard of, and it's so strange to me that it's real.
Yeah.
But then there becomes a thing where it's like, well, maybe she does have all these issues. But so I don't know. What's your take? Did she have issues, or did he create them?
I think she is a narcissist, and I think she does have issues in narcissism. I don't think she's schizophrenic. I do think he starts drugging her pretty early on in the movie and keeps her drugged up, and that's a lot of the issues. But she's a complete narcissist. She's a horrible human being.
Yeah, I mean, and you kind of, I mean, not really, but for like on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe about a 3, I really felt bad for Alec Baldwin's character.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he
Except
was
when
an
he didn't-
alcoholic,
when he
but
didn't answer, yeah. And when he didn't answer his kids' calls, that was, I mean,
Yeah.
the kid's like desperate, like, I'm getting adopted by some strange man. Can you please save me? And he never talked to him.
he was not a good father, but he definitely was a better parent than she was.
When that scene, when she runs into them in the restaurant,
Yeah.
it was so cringy. And then, like, I think the worst scene, I don't know, like when Gwyneth Paltrow was feeding her sister the cat.
Well, she goes on to say that it probably wasn't the cat.
But she doesn't definitively say that.
No.
She just is like, I was just kidding, maybe.
Yeah.
Weird stuff.
Yeah, it's a weird
like,
movie. Yeah, it's it felt like Ryan Murphy trying to do like American Beauty. So it had some tinges of, it felt like American Beauty type, how there's drama in the suburbs, but this feels very much like a Ryan Murphy movie. Like Ryan Murphy has good ideas and then butchers them. And that's why he can never properly finish a season. Everything he makes, by the time the end of the season comes, it's like everything falls apart. And I feel like that this movie, like, it has some interesting ideas to explore in, narcissism and mental illness, and not signing your entire life and children over to your psychiatrist. But it's all just done so just icky. It just has such a slimy feel, the whole movie.
I get that. And it is 20 years old. I don't think 20 years ago, though, that people were like, yeah, whatever, a 13-year-old gay kid can have sex with a 35-year-old schizophrenic man. But, some of because she drops like the N-word like
that was so uncomfortable. And I know that she's doing it to defend how they treated this woman, and how she's like, I never saw her as an N-word, and she was never an N-word to me. But at a point, it was like, are you just telling him this story because you really want to say the N-word that many times?
I know. I was like, and I know this is 20 years ago, but can we stop?
And it was like she was like, the R at the end of every one of them was like 28 syllables. She like dug the R in every time she said it. And I was on a plane watching this, and I had my headphones on, but I was still looking around like, oh my God, what if they lip read and they know what she's saying?
It was a very cringy movie with so many famous people that did such a great job in their individual roles.
The trailer makes this movie look really good. Like, it's like, oh, this is a funny movie. And then it's just not. My favorite part of the movie is? It has Gwyneth Paltrow in it, and Brad Pitt is the producer of this movie. Brad Pitt produced it. And they dated, so I don't know why that amuses me, that they decided to work with each other after he broke up with her and married Jennifer Aniston. He might have already been broke up with Jennifer Aniston with Angelina Jolie by now, 2006. Wow. But yeah, so apparently he continues to work with his exes, which is great. Nice that they can still work after all of that.
Well, I mean, people want a paycheck, right?
That's true.
I'd work with my exes if it got me a lot of money.
True.
Maybe they thought they were getting an Oscar for this performance.
Yeah. No. Although Annette Bening did get a Golden Globe nomination, so good for her.
Yeah, wow. But she was good in it. How many grapes?
1, maybe 1.5.
One singular grape.
That's solely for the actors, because all the actors did really well with the shit script they were given.
I have hated other things we've covered way more than this, so I'm actually going to go with 2.5. It was, I don't know, if you can get past just the cringiness of it and the outdated cringiness of it, then that's fine. I don't have a disdain for I don't have that sort of feeling for Ryan Murphy that you do. Like, I loved Hollywood. I am a huge 911 fan, and I loved Glee, and so I feel like sometimes he hits it right. But I will agree with you. I'll tell you that most of the critics of this movie, most of the people that pan it, are saying that it couldn't decide if it wanted to be a heartfelt drama or an in-your-face avant-garde type of movie, and I can see that for sure.
Yeah. Definitely something that should stay 20 years ago. But
something I wish that we never saw the trailer of.
Yeah. But we'll be back with something else next week. I don't think we know what it is yet, but it'll be something hopefully better than this. But until then, the cork is back in the bottle.